Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. And y'all know what time it is. It is time to get this conversation going. And tonight's featured guest is my great Air Force sister from another Mr. Doctor and retired Chief Master Sergeant Gloria Weatherspoon. And so, y'all, we are in for a treat tonight. We got folks that are already coming into the building. So, Key, we see you, my queen. Okay, you were on the social media platforms making sure that we all knew that Gloria was going to be here tonight. And then I got my good friend Tina. Tina is in the house tonight. So thank you so much for showing up, y'all, because we about to show out here on the Slay to Success talk show. So before we get started, let me just make it very clear of what we're doing here on this platform. All right. Again, my name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, and I'm the CEO and founder of Slay to Success, which is a leadership and transformational consultant service business. And I empower women specifically who are transitioning out of the military, women who have done 20 plus years and going into their transformation quickly and smoothly so that way you can step into your next chapter in your most authentic self. And so I do that in a number of ways. I do some workshops, I do one-on-one programs. I'm speaking out here, y'all. I'm doing consulting. I am trying my best to get myself on out here so that way we don't leave a woman behind. All right. So look for all the upcoming updates and so forth. I will push those out on all the social medias that you are following if you're following me. But tonight specifically, I want to highlight another woman in my circle that is living and slaying on her own terms. Okay. We not about to be wheeled around, okay, and saying, hey, we got to do this. We got to do that. No, this time we are making and calling the shots. Okay, so now we're going to learn all the things about what Glo's been doing in her transition. And, we're just going to start out with a conversation and I'll make sure that I cover down on all the things. So how you doing first, Glo? And welcome to the Slate to Success talk show, Queen.
Thank you. So I want to say I'm so proud of you, Rochelle. I really
Oh,
like watching you walk into your purpose. I love it. And I'm so here for it. And I'm
thank
doing great.
you.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you know
The
what?
transitioning.
Yeah, when we were going through the roster, okay, because I have a whole list of people that I want to come here on the show. For sure, you were on top because I remember we met during the pandemic virtually after all the racial and social unrest, and we got on one of those DEI calls, and I was like, "Well, who's this chief over here? She is spitting the game and telling people like it is." And I just wanted to learn more about you. And then fast forward, we both retired, and you were like, "Hey, come on out here and speak to the women in your circle because your business that you have live, laugh, lead, right? Or live,
Live,
lead,
laugh, lead.
laugh,
Live, laugh, lead. You had it right first time.
live,
Yep.
laugh, lead. So
Mhm.
that L3 concept. And so we got on there and we were pouring into some women. And I was like, yeah, like this is what we supposed to be doing. This is what we got going on right here. And ever since then, we've been connected. So tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you at and what's really happening behind the scenes.
Okay. So first of all, I want people to know that I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Um, no matter where I'm at in the world, I am always Philly, period. So I'm currently in Florida, right? So I retired from Patrick Air Force Base and I stayed in this area. I have a great community, a great sisterhood here because I am also, anybody who knows me know that I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And my chapter, the Omega Omicron Zeta chapter, just a phenomenal group of women. And so there is no other place in the world than I would rather live than Brevard County because I got my whole support system is physically here and my whole accountability system too because them ladies don't play.
Right.
So
You know what? I don't
Bring a
know what
break.
it is about Florida, but I know a lot of powerful women that are living in Florida. And I was like, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's just the environment, the vibe. You all just gravitated down there and said, hey, this is where we stand. But I absolutely love the way that you just put yourself out there. You know, you're known as a TikTok chief, right? And, it is a lot of things that are happening. And so I'm like, okay, so I want to know, like, so you did 25 years in, right? You did 25 years and you retired as a chief master sergeant. All right. But then when I saw you stepping out and put the doctor on top of that, I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Okay. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, that journey in between your retirement, your doctorates, and then a little bit afterwards. Like, what was that journey looking like for you?
Girl. So this is an exclusive because I normally keep people all the way out my business, right?
Okay, well, first of
So
all, let me tell the people, you heard it here first, y'all. Okay, I'm like Oprah here. All right, you heard it here first. Go ahead, Glo.
yeah, because I'm ready, right? So
Ready.
what people don't realize is, I retired. I had somebody ask a question, and somebody may ask a question in the audience. I don't know, but when I was retiring, right, it was around the time I was wearing my hijab, and I had been, I'm like this whole not martyr, but this whole, role model for Muslim women who want to cover and all this other stuff. And so as I'm retiring, my life was falling apart. My life as I knew it, right? I pushed the button, and my husband at the time decided, that the best thing for him was for us to get a divorce. Um, Me being the person that I am, I was like, no, that's not the best thing for you. I know what's best for your life, sir.
Yeah, we
And what he said, what he said to me was it kind of hit home, but not until I started to grow as a person. What he said to me was, that he himself wasn't happy and it wasn't fair for our relationship because he and we started out as friends. We were friends from the gate. We were best friends, great friends. And it was at a point where we were no longer friends. And he was not happy about that. Right.
Mm,
And so what you're taught the whole time is if you retire without your family, you did it wrong. You failed. And so, Rochelle, I was so embarrassed. I didn't tell anybody. I pushed the button. Rodney moved out the next month. Rodney, March 21, we were separated.
wow.
Right. And so nobody knew that because I was technically I'm still in my uniform. I had pushed the button, so I'm doing retirement things, and I'm speaking, and I'm this big role model. And my life, as I knew it, was falling apart, and I believed that I had failed because that's what I was taught the entire time. And I can't remember who I was talking to. I listened to somebody say that recently. If you retire without your family, you fail, right? And so it was many nights I'm transitioning, I'm depressed, I got anxiety. I already had like other things going on because my last assignment was extremely challenging. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
already dealing with a lot of personal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a space where I was like, what am I going to do? I am not prepared. A divorce puts you in financial instability because now you separating money, you accumulated joint bills and who gonna pay what. The beginning of my transition was rough.
Mm,
And so because I wasn't telling nobody my business, it was,
right.
are you retiring because you didn't get picked up to be a command chief because you wear a hijab? I was like, oh, I'm retired because I got children, and my children were like, we're done. My boys do not, they don't mince words. My fault. Right? Like I taught them to speak their minds. And
Right.
when it was time to PCS, they were like, we're not going, we staying with dad. Oh, what?
Wow.
I said, no. You want to leave? They want me. I was like, I cannot do this. Right. So I pushed the button to retire. I did it thinking it would save my marriage, but Ronnie had already made up his mind. And shout out to him because we are great now. He was correct. our marriage was getting in the way of our friendship, and
Mm,
something had to go, and we decided that it wasn't going to be our friendship.
right.
Um,
Hey,
so
can I ask you something here real quickly? So
of course,
when you say that, people who say like you gonna fail, like you failed because you didn't carry your whole family across the finish line, right? And you were saying, well, the feelings of just not being like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like not good enough, or not doing what you were supposed to do, like you fell short in some sort of a way. Like, how did you deal with that? Like, how are you dealing with that kind of thing? Is there anything that you, in particular, that you start doing to kind of like, okay, that is just what you see and perceive as my relationship, but did you do anything differently or thought about it any deeper?
I had to get therapy, and
Mm,
I had to actually unpack all of that, right? How could a marriage that yielded two beautiful children and a friendship that will last me the rest of my life be a fail? Like, I did all of this. How can that be a failure? And what I learned through therapy was that my whole time in the military, I allowed a lot of people to tell me who I was, what was best, what right looks like, what success looks like. And I had internalized all of those things, and therapy helped me unpack that. Success, what success looks like for one person doesn't mean that it looks like that for the next person. And so I had to do a lot of forgiveness of myself,
right.
giving myself grace, and being
Yeah.
grateful for the journey of that marriage, and who I was in the beginning and who I was at the end of that, and understand that that was a part of my story that had to come to an end in order for
Yeah.
me to go to the next chapter. And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I think you help so many people just sharing your story right now,
Yeah.
because we do listen, especially in a military environment, to what people think that we should be and how we should show up and how we should be speaking and talking and what your family dynamics should look like. And then at the end of the day, it's like, well, you not in this marriage. Like, you don't know what's going on with me. You don't even know what I'm supposed to, be saying. Yeah, it's a whole thing, yeah, right? It's a whole thing.
Mhm.
And I just want to acknowledge like some of these comments. So first shout out, okay, to folks that are just showing up. Thank you so much. So Key, that's big. Our marriage was getting in the way of our friendship. She's just like that's and Jana just said it on top of it. Words are so powerful. So thank you for showing up, Jana. We love you, girl. We know you still out there, still doing what you need to do for our military. So I appreciate you, but you're gonna find us on the other side. And Latrice is one of my queens. She says, say that, right? What is success looks like for one person does not look like that for someone else. And so we got to get better. I think this is just like as a in the world in general, we just need to get better at speaking to
Yeah.
folks and not putting what you want for somebody else because you feel like that's just what needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
So after you got, like kind of a little bit through that,
Yeah.
with your husband and now your ex-husband, so what was your next step through? Okay, because we were sharing with me another hurdle, like, so what
Yeah.
was the next step through?
So through therapy, which I highly recommend,
That's
and I'm
right,
still going to therapy,
y'all.
right? But through the journey that I'm on, right? The transitioning journey, I had to figure out who Gloria was, not who Chief was, but who Gloria was. And I'm so layered. There are so many different parts and pieces of me that I want to share. And sometimes I can't share both all at the same time. Right. So I had to figure out what I liked, what that looked like. Um, even, like the weird part, even what being what being a woman meant to me, what being feminine looked like for me. Down to, the first thing I did was get crazy nails, right? That's what we do when we retire. We get our nails done. And I
That's
got
right.
like a nose ring was the second thing. And then the third thing was dye my hair. What, anything that kind of took me out of, just our standards box that we had, right? Like our standards box. And so I had to learn what I like, what I don't like, what I was going to tolerate, what I wasn't going to tolerate. I had to learn how to um speak life into myself, because I spoke life into other people. And I was told before, you
Mm.
make me feel like I can fly, right? And I'm over here flailing like a dead fish. So I had to learn how to
Yeah.
speak truth to power and speak life into me. And I would be so remiss if I did not mention, when I tell you. So my chapter, my sisterhood, my circle here, my sorors, or my sisters, are my friends. They were the group that I gravitated to in those moments when I didn't have anybody. And I had to learn to trust women that I had literally just met in 2019, right? So I'm going
Mhm.
through this big life challenge, and they a lot of them, which I didn't know, pay attention to my mannerisms, and they were so good at that they were like, okay, you're gonna tell me what's going on with you, because your whole attitude, you walking in here, you shifting the room, your energy is stank, and we need to know why. And they
Wow.
paid so much attention to me that I was just like, and I bust out crying. This is
Mhm.
what's going on. This is what I'm going through. And they're like, girl, that's life. You thought you couldn't tell us that? Because I was embarrassed, bro.
Uh-huh.
I was so embarrassed.
It's,
Um,
you know what, Flo, you bring up, okay, so many different things that you just said. First of all, you realize that you had to speak life into yourself because you were
mhm,
pouring into other people, as we do, as we have done
yeah,
in the military. Like you, the leader, especially as a Black woman in the uniform, we
yeah,
take all the babies, and I'll say babies, and we like nurture them, we care for them, we like their mama, and we're just trying our best to get them to wherever they're trying to go. But we forget to even speak life into ourselves. And it's just a sad reality that we have to go back to even listen to our own words that we have said over and over and over again to make sure
mhm,
that we are living that thing out too, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and then when you said you had a group of women, a community who recognized right out the gate, like you
mhm,
shifting the whole room. The energy in this room is off.
yeah,
And for you to be, so vulnerable, because it takes vulnerability to
mhm,
just say, hey, my life is falling apart. And I
yeah,
just don't know. And it's almost like I don't want to tell you because I'm afraid that you're going to tell me I can't be a part of this,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's the other way around.
mhm,
So I
yeah.
love that you were that, vulnerable, and to share with
Yeah.
them, like this is what's going on.
Mhm. I had to be, because they didn't play. So the women in my chapter played a really big part in, me giving myself grace, and me, reestablishing, my relationship with God, right? Like, just
Yeah.
because I was doing a lot of things in my transition. I was wearing my hair covered, and then I wasn't. But again, like, it's so many different layers to me. I got tired of doing things because people was expecting something from me. And I had to break that and figure out, what do I expect from me? What
Mm,
what are the standards I'm setting for myself? What do I expect? Versus living in a space where I only operated off of what other people expected from me. And
mm.
my transition for real, Ro. I would say is about 4 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
From about 2019, like I'm on a 4-year journey because I'm still
Right.
transitioning.
Yeah.
But I would say it's been my journey been about 4 years. It's just only, two of them been out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you know what? It's this conversation about this is only going to allow others to share theirs out loud from the gate.
Mhm.
And understand you are not less than, and nobody perfect out here, right?
No.
And Latrice put on here, I mean, you can comment because I think everybody understands and can really resonate. She says, what do I expect for myself? You talking real good. She's like, you talking real good here. And I love Tiana's the other, she's still serving in uniform. And it is necessary for us to view, speak to, and love on ourselves in the third person. Like those
Yes.
words of affirmation and really, like sitting in ourselves and sitting quiet with ourselves and really listening in to really what do we need and giving it what it needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
as you like now done this transition and so forth, you were
Mhm.
telling me that you started this process of doing hair. Okay, you were starting these
I
sister locks,
did.
and you
So
started sister locks out of tell folks how that all came to be.
yeah. So initially I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So I was doing skill bridge and I was gonna be a teacher. But Rochelle, them kids was bad and they don't pay teachers enough. God bless every educator
I,
in the world, not just the United
I,
States, but the world, right?
the world, the world.
And so, it was at a point where I was just like, I knew I wanted to mentor and be a role model for children, right? Like it was this little girl, who she had locks too, but she didn't like her hair and she didn't think she was pretty. And it's when I started uncovering my hair because I wanted her to see that I had locks too. Um, so that was, a piece of me being like, okay, it's not changing that I'm Muslim. I'm still Muslim, but I'm also black. I'm black and I'm Muslim and I'm a woman. I'm American. Like there are, so
Mhm.
many different things, right? And a Muslim doesn't look one way. So I'll go through all that. And I love Sister Lot so much because I found a part and a piece of me that I loved. I didn't love my hair before. I didn't know how to take care of it when I was wearing it naturally. It was always crazy. I always had this little girl puff and a twist. I was trying to wear my hair my last couple years in uniform. And I was just like, and oddly enough, and I got to give my ex-husband credit, he shows me this picture and he was like, you should get your hair like this. And I was like, are they micro braids? And he's like, nah, I think they're locks. And so I went and got my hair locked, and I loved it so much that I went to the official Sister Locks training class, and they taught me the Sister Locks method. So I went to school. I'm a big education fan. So I went to school and I started doing locks out of panic because what Gloria didn't do while she was feeling sorry for herself and feeling like a failure is I didn't handle my business. So all I had was my retirement check, and I didn't even do my VA stuff. And I'm like, oh, I got bills. I got this house. I got these kids. I got to eat. And I'm not about to be out here looking ugly. So I got to make sure that I'm straight. Right. And so used a little bit of my savings. I paid the money and I started doing hair. And that's where I learned when I went to that class that baby black women pay for their
Oh
hair to be.
yeah. Me and my mom were just talking about that on the phone. A
Yeah. Oh,
multi-billion
yeah.
dollar business,
Yeah.
especially out here in the DMV and the East Coast. I'll tell you what, we gonna pay top dollar to get our hair done now.
Yes, absolutely. And to be able to provide somebody a natural hair experience where they
Hmm.
love their hair the way it grows out of their head, that means everything to me. Because again, as I'm on my own transition journey of discovery, of loving who I am in all of my blackness, every
Yes.
every part and piece from my hair to my lips to the way my nose is shaped to the raspiness of my voice and my little hint of Philly accent, loving every part of me, as a black woman and the culture I'm a part of. Being able to give women that natural hair experience did something for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I love my clients. I had one today, one yesterday. Um, so just, just, and we talk and we laugh, and it's just a whole connection, with a community of women that I feel like I need as well. They enjoy
Yeah.
coming here because I'm pretty funny. I make them laugh. I do my job.
Right.
But I also enjoy their company as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much why I did it out of panic, but I continue to do it because it's just just a beautiful experience. My clients have really good energy, and just kind of
Yeah.
being in their presence, once every 6 weeks, and having 13 clients, that's not bad for a
That's
couple
not
dollars.
bad at all. I ain't mad at you because everybody needs these multiple streams of income is a
Yes,
thing. You don't
yes.
never know when something gonna happen. So,
Mhm.
and I love the story. I have watched your locks journey. Like I seen where it was when you first got out of the military to where it's at right now. And the dye look, my queen, is fire. But I was like, that
Thank
making you glow, making you glow. That's what I'm saying, So it's just like I love it. I love it. And we also were talking a little bit about military life and civilian life. Like you
you.
back into like the corporate space, if you will.
Yes.
you know. And so tell us a little bit about the experience so far and how it's different.
So I would say like the first thing is the language. So like the corporate America has a language I just quite don't understand just yet. They say a lot of things in meetings and they have their own acronyms, and their acronyms are extremely long for no reason.
Right.
Um,
It's a little drag, Glow.
and so in the first 6 months, I was sitting, I'm smiling. I mean, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, so for the first 6 months, I'm so sorry.
No,
Okay,
girl, keep
hear me
going.
back.
Listen, this is not about being perfect on here.
Okay,
This
so
is
for the
my show, and
first 6 months, okay, so for the first 6 months, I would sit in a meeting. So for the first 6 months, I would sit in a meeting and I would just take notes just so I could go back and ask my coworkers, what were y'all talking about? I don't understand what this is. And so, in order to understand it, oddly enough, I had to equate it with, like, I work at a utilities company. So I had to equate it with the mission support group. This person sits here. That's who they are. These are who these people are. Okay, now I get it. And so, as
right.
I'm learning how things work, and they call everybody by first name. So I see the CEO and I'm like, hello, Mr. Bullock. And he was like, what? Call me Clint. I'm like, really? So they call everybody by first names, which is very awkward. And
Yeah,
and
especially being out of
outside
military.
of that, outside of the first name thing, and my understanding what professionalism was for us, they're extremely unprofessional. Like it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, this is how you all operate. Um, sorry, but
Oh, you're good.
being able to be in a space where I could be a little more candid if things weren't going well. Um, and being able to, just kind of speak freely,
Yeah,
whether it was the CEO on the elevator or our chief that ran the section.
right.
Um, yeah.
So, okay, so you dabble in leadership. Like leadership is like heavy, like
Hmm.
almost like your second language is the same as for me, right? And so when we talk about leadership, and you got different type of leadership than you do when we were in the military. Like how do you find the style? How are you engaging, and what do you have you found to be useful for you? when it has came to, leading? Because you said you just got a chair and now you leading in a different capacity. So share folks what you got the chair in, and then what style are you working with all the styles that we know from the military?
Right. So I was just installed as the chair of the board of directors for the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. That happened on Saturday. Um, thank you. I am so sorry. Can you give me 5 seconds? I
Yes.
have. Okay, give me. I'm. Oh
Okay,
my
yeah,
god.
no worries.
I'm so.
She'll be back, y'all. Glow is trying to get her internet and get her it's probably got her dog down there because she got her dog with her. But yeah, this is just a great way to see how another woman from the military is like putting herself out there and now leading in a different capacity, leading the Chamber of Commerce. And I know that that is not an easy task to do. So all of you who are here, thank you for being here tonight, and your comments. And Jana just put that comment here about our hair. Our hair is steepened in connection, culture, strength, and resiliency. And so sometimes when we don't see ourselves, and we don't see ourselves pretty or anything like that because we expect to have it straight and pulled back like we have had in the military. And Tiana's talking here. Okay, she says, can we talk more on the need for financial literacy to support us in our growth to courage to live out loud? So often women, especially those with children, are trapped and limited by their needs. How has your finished independence enabled your transitions, and any recommendations? So, Glow, we got our work cut out for us because Tiana's asking us a question. So, when we get to the financial literacy part, I know I have some thoughts to that, but I would like to open it up for you to actually share if you have some thoughts to that too. So, are you good now, Glow?
I am sorry. I had to. I
Okay.
have a. I'm divorced now, but I have a friend who lives. He lives and works in another country, so I had to be like, "Hey, I'm kind of busy." So we'll go back.
Like, listen, we on the Slater Success Talk Show here. I'll call you back in a minute.
Right. And I was
Okay,
like, hey, I want to talk to you. He's like, what? You didn't tell me that. I'm like, sorry, I forgot. But I'll call you.
that's all right.
So it's
Okay, so Tiana's got this question here, and it's a really good question. Financial literacy. All right. Because in the military, they don't really, I mean, they don't really explain to you about the importance of financial wellness.
right.
Now, financial wellness. So you just talked and spoke to you. You didn't have anything really planned out because unexpected news of getting a divorce, and now you have to figure this thing out. So, what do you think you would have needed in that time to really help you to get to the next level and really financial independence? Because Tiana's asking the question. It's a very good question to ask.
So I would say, right, we got a bazillion resources. So the resources are there, right? Like I'm a big fan of the Airman and Family Readiness Center. Like the resources are there while we're in now. But what I didn't have, and I tell this to people all the time, I didn't respect money. My
Mm,
money was disposable. I had zero respect for money can make you comfortable and money can make you real uncomfortable
mm,
if you disrespect it. I blew it on things that were unnecessary. I gave my kids things that were unnecessary. Um, because I was so used to having this double income and I always had money coming, that I did not respect it. And so now that I respect my money and I've gotten out of debt, um, I I truly and honestly believe not to pay somebody, but instead of looking at how resources to save and stuff like that, look at what wealth management looks like. Have a plan for your money. and have your money work for you and understand what passive income is supposed to be and what that looks like. In order, millionaires will tell you that you have to have at least 7 streams of income. That's hard, right?
That is hard.
But understanding and respecting the power of your dollar, where it's spent, how you spend it, what other resources are out there. So if you have, like, I was a staff sergeant when I had Jaden and Justin. A lot of us don't know, like, I got WIC on purpose. Kids are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And I had 13 months apart. They're expensive, right? And so realizing that we don't make a whole lot of money initially, and doing the things that will help your money grow, not just living check to check, but help your money grow. And so people would tell you, if you got debt, consolidate your debt. But I would start reading things on what wealth management looks like, what growing your money looks like. How can you turn $1 into 15 cents? What things should you be doing now that you can spend $10, $20 to put into that will serve you later? Start having your plan long term and not be dependent on your retirement. So financial literacy, the need for financial literacy, understanding and respecting your money first, and then understanding what managing that money looks like, and how you can you don't always have to have $100,000 to invest in something. Take your money and learn how to, and I would say, me and my cousins just now in our 40s, we have this thing called the birthday club. And so what we do with the birthday club, we all put certain pots of money in, and whoever birthday, they get half, and then the other half we invest.
Right.
So we're buying property together. We're doing all these other things. And I think the collective, we don't, and some people may not have a circle that they trust. Right.
That's all I was going to say. You can't be doing it with everybody.
As a collective, if you have a few homegirls or a few homeboys or whatever, look into things you can invest in as a collective if that trust is there. Because collective wealth building is something that we don't look at either.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I'm doing.
Yeah. So I'm totally 100% agree with you on everything that you said. And more importantly, respecting the dollar and understanding where that money is actually going. And, the program. So for us, I would say, Tiana, me and my husband, when we got promoted, that extra money after like staff sergeant was put away. We put it in TSP. We didn't even think about it. And still investing in that. And then we found investment streams, to kind of like, okay, we know that if we put our money over here, and then it's going to occur interest over time. And so, thinking about IRAs and Roths, and this is terminology that we don't particularly speak to because we're afraid of money. All right. And I know, because I've had to help in so many different ways women who are struggling with money because they didn't understand the value of money. So as you are transitioning, because right now y'all see me, I'm not working. I'm not working. I'm working and doing the things that I want to do, but I'm not in a traditional 9 to 5. And my husband, he didn't work for 3 years after he retired because we wanted to make sure that we didn't have to just go into something, but we wanted to be financially secure. It is one of the 8 dimensions of wellness. Okay. So finances is a thing. So hopefully those recommendations helped you, Tiana, and I appreciate you asking the question. Okay. Key is like, I wish we had, better life skill courses for service members, right? And come on out of country. And Jay Will, he's on here. Now, Jay Will's got a question about the value of time. And he argued we don't respect our time more than money as we should.
So
So,
AJ will. So I would say valuing our time would be setting boundaries, because it's usually other people that don't value your time, and you just kind of don't set boundaries with those other folks.
yeah. So with the boundaries, what you talking about? Like, let's peel that back just a little bit.
Being okay with saying no, I don't have the capacity for that. Learning terminology like, my emotional currency is in the negative, right? Like, and I think people, everybody, because they think you're so amazing, right? They want you here, there, everywhere, and they pulling you every which way, up, down, left, right, and you're not stopping it. You're not stopping it. So you recognize, I think intrinsically we recognize that our time is valuable and our time is precious, but it's those boundaries we don't set with others and sometimes ourselves as well. Like, I had to set a boundary with my clients because I have, I have so many things I do in a community that I said, I'm not doing hair on Sundays no more, but here I am. My friend's like, "Flo, can I?" And I told her, I said, "You this your last one." And she knows I meant that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I need a day off. I do a lot.
Yes.
I do a lot, bro. Like, outside of being, I'm the second vice president, and I'm over social actions and scholarship. I'm on the finance committee for my chapter. I'm now the chair of the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm on a board for an organization called Hey Blue, which is also an amazing organization that builds a connection between police officers and community members. I do a lot. And so I had to learn how to set boundaries with my time on any day. And I have to respect it. Like, I looked at my tub today. I set a whole spa thing up in my tub in my new place. I'm getting in that tub today.
That's
Bro,
right.
I've been telling myself that for 3 weeks.
Oh, no, you
I'm
getting in
getting
there
in that
today.
tub.
Glow. You getting in that
Right.
tub.
And I think valuing our time is very connected to setting boundaries with ourselves and with other people, and being able to say no. So many people find it hard to say no. I have grown, and I'm like, no is a complete sentence.
It sure is.
I
And
say no to men who want my time. No. And I don't owe you a why.
Right. And
If
that's
I don't want to
true.
do something, I'm like, no.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I
No is a
think
complete
because
sentence.
we have been conditioned so much. We were conditioned, and there was a reason for us to be conditioned, right? Because we had a job to do in the military. There were some things that was just like, you got to get it done, the mission, and all those things. But in the next chapter, as we have transitioned, it's even more important for us to understand the word no. I'm teaching my women, my clients, I'm teaching them all the time. Say it however you want to say it, but you need to pull back, fall back. Because if you don't fall back, once you get into this, whatever you're trying to do, you ain't going to have the capacity. You're just not going to have it. My son just knocked on the door, y'all. And I don't know if y'all saw me like, come on now, like, right. But he knows, like, after this, it's like me and him. And I think that it has to be very clear to people what you doing. And we got a lot of comments on here too, like, Key, I have an opportunity for me or for you gives me a slight anxiety. Yeah. When people come to you and say that kind of stuff, we just have to understand how to say it, pick some phrases that you're comfortable with it. That equates to no, we're not doing that.
Right.
So,
And be okay with it. And
yeah.
Ileana Van Zant said one time, and it stuck with me. It had to be years ago. She said it. It's not selfish, it's self-full to put yourself first. It's self-full. And
Mm-hmm.
we struggle with putting ourselves first, because especially military members and beyond, because mission first, people first, you was always last. And what we trying to change that narrative, because what we start telling people, service before self don't mean service instead of self. You
Right.
say that, but that is
Yep.
not the actions that we are supposed to exhibit if we want to be successful.
Yes.
And
It's true.
you miss out on so many moments, so many experiences because we're, unconsciously conditioned
Mm-hmm.
to that being self-full is
Mm-hmm.
selfish and that's a bad thing.
Yeah. And that's
That's
what, yeah, it is false. And that is why, I mean, we're out here and we're really trying to change the narrative. It's first, you first, you first. When you transition, you first. Because for so many years, you sacrificed so much. We did so much, y'all. And then you think, well, I only did, a few things. I'm like, no, no, no. Roll that, roll that on back. You were doing a whole lot of stuff that you weren't really wanting to do. And now in your transition, you really got to really think about it. Key, I think Key was that one that actually sent something to me about veterans and their sicknesses and their health after they retire,
mm-hmm,
and it catching up to
mm-hmm,
them
mm-hmm,
because you were going so hard in the paint and then you stop and realize you have so much to catch up on. So really having that self-full mindset, it's a mindset, y'all, that we have to change and we have to get out away from. So when because I talk about mindset all the time, yeah, Glow, you know that, right? So what
mm-hmm.
type of mindset are you in right now? What did you have to shift from? Like, where are you at and what are you using?
uh so I do a lot of writing, or typing rather, because I don't write with pen and paper. But I had to stop fighting what God's plan was for me and
Mm.
embrace it and just walk in it. There are gonna be I'm very big on serving the community and making an impact.
Mhm.
And my pathway and my purpose is through social justice initiatives and business. Um, and I was fighting that. I don't want to do that. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a hairdresser. I want to be everything else. But I didn't want to lead because leadership, that call into leadership can be exhausting, right? And
Yes.
now I'm in a position where I am the chair for a board of folks who've lived here for a long time and they do things a certain way. And here I come. Things are going to change because as a leader transitions, things are gonna change. But what I'm doing is, and I look at everything as an opportunity for growth,
Mhm.
and that I have not always done it. Everything was an opportunity. Like, I don't know why the Lord is punishing me. What did I do? What did I do? But everything is for my good. And I
Yes.
truly, honestly believe that. And sometimes I just have to sit still and be thankful um, that, you know, I feel like God is so invested in my success that I
Mhm.
consistently get opportunities to grow and to impact, and just being okay, and being like, okay, Lord, let me be obedient. Because once I started to sit still and listen and be obedient to what I thought was the voices in my head, but I just feel like that is, do this, Gloria, go this way, Gloria, this is what you're supposed to do. Because even with Live Laugh Lead, and y'all will probably see announcement later, I'm even working rebranding that company, not getting away from Live Laugh Lead, because that
Right.
is my baby, and I live by those 3 words. But just rebranding and being able to shift, because I've been placed in rooms that I never thought I would be in.
Mhm.
Didn't think that I was qualified or prepared. Um, but it's just being grateful for all of it. Everything good or bad. When I run into a person that I feel like, is doing me wrong, I don't even get mad at them, right? Like, oddly enough, I think I was telling Kiana, like, Kevin Gates is like the little clips that people put about him on Facebook. He was like, release people in love. Just because
Yeah.
you're no longer friends with them, don't mean
Yep.
that they're your enemy.
Right.
Release them in love. And when
Oh
I
yeah.
started moving in those spaces and being like, okay, what did I learn from this experience? What did I learn from that person? Like, I used to be so angry, Ro, and
Mm-hmm.
harbor hate. And if you do something to me, I had to get you back and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I stopped doing that is when doors flew open.
Yes.
And I tell myself, everything is for your good and for your benefit. And I remember that. And that's how I move.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's so true. You get those, like, that's a lower vibration frequency when you're mad and you harbor resentment and you're disappointed at what somebody's
Yeah.
done to you, whatnot, and you hold on to it. It's not even fair to you. To you as to how you moving forward. And those spaces, because not a lot of times, we get opportunities to be in spaces,
Yeah.
outside of the military life, because people are just starting to really get to know us and try to figure out, who we know and how we're connected to them.
Mhm.
And Key put up a comment here that I wanted to emphasize as well. She says, wounded warriors, and the VA website has the numbers of the life expectancy of veterans. But
Mhm.
transitioning from a fast pace to a slowing down breaks us down, like a speeding car making an abrupt stop. And it's
Mhm.
absolutely true. We've been
Mhm.
we've been going, and not even really realizing. And then when you don't have the time, I mean, you sit in yourself and you're like, well, what do I do next? I'm supposed to be doing something. Well, maybe you should just chill out for a hot second, right?
Yeah.
So,
And yeah. I would tell people, volunteer your time, right? Because
yeah,
maybe work is not necessarily what you need to do.
right.
But there are especially here where I live at,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many things to give your time and talents for. Like, I went through this leadership course called Libra Bard, and is a 9-month course. We go once a month. And there I learned about all the different ways that you can impact this county socially. Like, I would tell
Mm.
anybody, it's hard because I was established in the Air Force. Y'all knew who I was. I was a chief. I was
Oh
established. When I retired, I was just Gloria that wasn't from here, and I had to reestablish myself. And that might be one of the most, and I don't know, if we did a survey or anything like that, but that's a hard transition. Now
yeah,
people know me, right?
yeah.
But in the beginning, I couldn't even go to networking events and shake people's hands because I was like, I was so much in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like the people in those rooms already know what they doing and they look all business like. Now the same people, we laughing and cutting it up on the phone.
Right.
And they just normal, just like me. And they're
Yeah.
in awe of me and my service. And initially, bro, I wasn't even telling anybody I was retired.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm still trying to unpack that one. I don't know why. Because now people are like, you were in the military 25 years. Why are you not telling nobody that? And I'm like, because I was trying to establish myself as just Gloria. But that 25 years of my life, that's who I am too.
It's part of your
And
story.
it's that's the hard part too, right? Because we feel like you gotta reestablish yourself.
Yeah.
Because now you're a part of the community that
Yeah.
doesn't know you. And we don't all keep in touch with each other. When you retire, you're out the loop. Um, Even though certain people, I ain't gonna name no names, but Key and Jay Will, and they keep me
Called
pretty
y'all
looped
out.
in on what's going on. Kiana be like, "Did you see such and such, ma'am?" No, ma'am, I
Right.
haven't. I'm not in.
Right.
I'm not tapped in. Well, what happened? Because I'm still nosy. I'm still invested,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But it's it's hard because you have all these, you go to conferences, you get all this love, and life goes on, and the military went on without you.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's something you have to be okay with too. The
Yeah,
military goes on without you, but
yeah,
it's okay.
it
That's
is
okay.
okay.
And
Yeah,
that's why, like, one of the things, in the next couple months, um, I'm going to offer pro bono transition coaching, because I think that may be a missing part
it
of tax,
is.
right?
It is.
For them to, and it's gonna be free. I don't have a whole lot of free slots,
Right.
but it'll be free, and slots will open up, and I'll advertise those, and that'll be also in a couple months. But it's rough, but it's designed to be. You spend your whole young life doing one thing, and now you got to learn a new language, a new way of behaving, because
Yeah.
I clutch my pearls plenty of times with people who are in like high positions, and they real unprofessional by my standards.
Mm-hmm.
My standards are a lot different. I'm all like,
Mm-hmm.
what do
Mm-hmm.
you mean? Why you by your first name?
Right.
Is that okay? So you deal with a whole new set of challenges that you just, and TAPS is good. I give TAPS gave me a lot of resources,
Yeah.
but only being in that transition and recognizing you need that assistance, that's the only thing that can get you through to the next stage of the transition. Because I transitioned in a marriage, both my kids in college. I got this raggedy dog who think he the boss of me. I'm living in an apartment, which is very nice, by the way. I have a very nice
Mm.
apartment. I'm not a homeowner. I'm just, I'm just living. I'm just me. And every day I'm learning something new and beautiful about who
Yeah.
I am. And I learn to be grateful for the journey, and find the joy in it. And every day is a new adventure. I'm learning something new, and I'm learning to articulate what I like and what I don't. I learned that I'm having a hard time sharing ideas, because I'm a big fan of protecting my intellectual property. But is that the right thing
Mm-hmm.
to do when you're a part of a company? I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So it's been fun so far. Not really. The first 2 years were terrible. This third year is great though.
Well, you know what? You know what? We need to hear that. People need to hear that it is not just this rainbows, chocolate bridges thing. It's a journey, and it is an emotional journey. They don't teach you this in TAPS.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they had all these phases. Like one of the phases is the disenchantment phase. That's where, you got out of the honeymoon phase of, oh my gosh, I'm so excited,
mhm,
I'm free, and you out here doing whatever you're doing, but then you get in a disenchantment phase and you're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, this is not good for me. Like, I'm bored. I need something else to be doing. Like,
yeah,
what is it? And then you don't really feel
mm,
like you should have
yeah,
retired, because some folks feel like they should have done like a longer haul in it, and didn't say, like, I should have just completed this whole thing so I didn't have to
yeah,
deal with this, right? But everyone's journey is different. And Jay will, I'm listen, okay, Jay is over here dropping some things in here. So let me just share with
mhm,
you. Okay, so Jay said, in fairness, something that took you 20 years to figure out and get in those rooms in the military took you all of 1 year to do on the outside. He's like, okay. And sometimes it's just be like that, right? But can we talk about, we've actually done harder things in the military? I think harder things in the military than we have
yeah,
in now that transition period, right? And it's true. We did a lot of hard things in the military. So, networking
yeah,
and and doing new things, that's all about building that confidence level up too, right? Because the
yeah,
more we practice
yeah,
doing it, the more rooms we go into, more different environments, the better we are with articulating who we are and what we add value to. I think
yeah,
that's the other thing that some of us may be struggling with. Um, and
mhm,
and um, and I'm going to call her Bokenza because that's who I know her as. But Bokenza said, "Thank you." And we also got Key on here, connecting a printer or even those MS Outlook LO. They had an executive team. I think she was talking about, like different ways of how our experience is when we're leaving and transitioning.
Listen, I didn't know how to use the printer at my new job. Well, I can't say new. I've been there a
Oh
year.
yeah.
I was like, how this work? They was like, what? You just you wave your ID card and things just start happening at that job.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tiana, getting comfortable with your whole story, right? Because our
Yes.
military service is part of her story. And Shalina's here as well. You're not just, you are, and that's why you are so
My
present. Love
star.
this. Yes, she showed up. So thank you for coming on the show tonight. And then we've got Key again. Transition from feeling needed by invites and calls for advice and influence to, oh, you were in the military. Great. It's a thing, Key. It's a whole thing.
That's facts. Yeah.
It is facts. People calling
Yeah.
you 24/7.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
the go-to person, especially if you had some,
Yeah.
time underneath your belt, a lot of years, and then oh,
Yeah.
you did what? Because believe it or not,
Right.
from what I've heard on the streets, not everybody is like excited about you being in the military. There are some group of
Yeah.
folks out here that are like, "Oh, you chose to go in the military as opposed to getting a real job per se, right?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, why would you want to do 30 years? Okay, why you want in my case, why did you do 30 years?
Yeah.
You could have gotten out at 20." And at the time, right, everyone is different. I stepped through there and said, this is giving me a sense of purpose, and I really enjoy what I'm doing, even though it's hard. And there's some crazy folks up in here. They're gonna be crazy folks anywhere. All right. So it is what I was used to. But now in this transition, I was like, life ain't so bad here either.
Yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah. And
you
I've
just
I've been a strong advocate. We went to the Darden Company. They own like Red Lobster, Olive Garden, and all these other fancy restaurants. Seasons 52, I don't know, all these restaurants. And so we were talking about well, they weren't talking to me. I just jumped into the conversation. And so they were talking about veterans having limited corporate uh limited corporate experience. And I was like, you're not talking to me, but I feel like you are. So let's have this
mm,
conversation. And I
mm-hmm.
had to explain to them that regardless of what job we did in the military, you put us in a space, we're going to do that job.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out and we're going to do it better than anybody that went to school for it for years. Why? Because we were consistently thrust in environments where we had to figure it out. And if we didn't figure it out correctly, the downfall of that was greater than anything that they would ever had experienced in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
said I could literally run my utility company
Yeah.
because I've learned to lead in environments where I had no prior training, but
Right.
I understood people. I got
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
so you have all the experts doing what they're doing. If you can lead them, I could run this company without having worked at it for 50 years.
That's right.
And I said, any military member can, because we are the most dynamic, flexible, and hard work, consistently hardworking group of people in the country. I
Mm-hmm.
get offended. Don't tell me
Yeah.
what we can't do.
Yeah. Yeah. I look, I'm with you, Glow. Because there is some things that we just need to get caught up on, all right,
Mm-hmm,
because it's a different experience. But give
mm-hmm.
us an opportunity. Give us an opportunity, and we let you know. We'll show you what we got, right?
Okay.
Jay Will is over here and says, he says, I bet that apartment energy crazy. Okay. He just want to make sure he put that in there.
Crazy.
Crazy,
Go
crazy.
listen to New Apartment by Ari Lennox. That's the vibe that's in this part.
And then the key again, do you think officers help each other transition better than the enlisted side? I don't know.
I
I
don't
you
know.
know, I don't either. I
I don't
haven't
think so.
I haven't really talked to a lot of officers that have retired. I'm staying in the enlisted realm because that's what we do. But I feel like they probably have their own you know, cadre, if you will, of folks that are helping them. I don't know. So I don't know
Yeah.
that one for Kiki. Any, I know any is kind of a stretch. I think we're getting behind on these comments. Jay
Oh,
Will's gonna have to explain. He's gonna have to explain. I was assigned to units where the officer corps would have mock, interviews and how to transition, but not on the enlisted side. That's a that's a good technique or a skill set that we could, add to our coffers. So yeah, I like that key.
okay.
Corliss says most effective and results oriented.
That's right. We are.
That's right. And
Oh, Jay Will
Jay
being
will any service member
crazy.
being able to do the job. Look at him. He yeah, look, Jay
Okay,
Will,
maybe
he
not
about to
any,
take care.
but a good number of us. Don't do that.
Yes. Yeah. So I look, Jay will about to get kicked off the show because he over here acting up,
Messy,
acting
mess.
bad. Okay, well, we have just a few more minutes before we have to take this on home. So we talked about a whole lot of stuff in here, and I really appreciate you being very vulnerable, especially at the very beginning and then giving us the tea on, how your experience the first 2 years, not so great, but these last 2 years have been better because you went through some self-development and done some introspection and really figure out who Glow is and figure out that Glow's got many levels to her, and trying to figure out how to best add value now that you're in the corporate space and leading and all these other things. But my final question to you, Glow, is on your 80th birthday, okay? And I'm hopeful that we all gonna get to 80, but somewhere up into those ages, what do you want to hear your family and friends say to you about you? How do
Mm.
you want them to celebrate you in that moment?
On my 80th birthday, I think I would want my family. So I'm hoping I got grandkids and maybe some great grandkids. I want them to be like, uh, my grandma was always on time with her advice and her love and her guidance. And I never made them feel dumb for coming to me, right? Like I want each and every one of my children and children's children and children's children to be able to say, I could always go to my grandma and get that right on time advice. And I say that because I could always go to my grandma and get right on time advice. And I want them to be like, oh, grandma was gangster. She did not play. That's what I want to say. She gave
Right.
good advice and she ain't play about us.
Yeah.
My grandma
Look,
nickname was Grandma Dynamite. I want to be like that.
yeah. Of these grandmas, the ones that raised us and that we knew, they didn't mess around, okay, and they told like it needed to be told, but at the same time they loved you, and wanted the best for you, and so I know that that's what your great grandbabies are going to say about you, Glow, because you are just so dynamic and you're such a beautiful soul. And I love this. I love the journey that you're on. In any way that I could support you and however you're trying to move, you let me know. And I will be there for you. And I appreciate all of you who have came here on the show and dropped even just a hello, how you doing? Maybe a small comment, asking questions. We talk about finances up in here. And it is a beautiful thing to see us still moving out and still moving the needle after we transition into this next chapter. So, this is going to be the end, y'all, of the Slate to Success show. But Glow, is there any final thoughts before we turn this out? Anything that you want to add?
So I guess my final thought would always be kind to yourself and give yourself grace and love on yourself in all situations and just embrace your journey. Just embrace it. If in all the feelings that come with that.
Yeah, because you only gonna get one shot at this, right? Learning yourself and really
Yeah.
growing with yourself, and most importantly, give yourselves grace. Give yourself some grace. All right. And if you are struggling, you reach out. All right. Glow, myself, or any other veteran who's on this call, we can help you. All right. We can help you to get back on track or kind of just figure out where to go and how to go. So this is the end, y'all, of the Slay to Success talk show. This is our second episode with Dr. and retired Chief Master Sergeant Gloria Weatherspoon. And we will be back here next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My featured guest will be Todd Simmons. So if any one of you all know Todd Simmons, if you don't know, go look him up on LinkedIn or go look up on his personal Facebook. He is one of our dear friends as well in this circle. And so we will be talking to him about how you stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, sense of family, and knowing you are built to last. Glow, you are killing it. You're dominating and you're nailing it. You're impressing greatly and you are on point, my queen. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending and being a part of this experience. And we will see you all back next Sunday. Love y'all. Slay.